Steam curled off the coffee as 35-year-old Ryan Matthews spotted a shivering woman on the roadside at dawn, hood up, hands shaking, eyes wet. He didn't hesitate. He pressed his only cup into her hands. "You need this more than me." She searched his face, like she didn't believe kindness could be this simple. Then took a sip and closed her eyes like it hurt to feel warm again. She had no idea that single cup was about to break open both their lives. Before we dive in, drop a comment with where you're watching from, and don't forget to hit subscribe for more videos like this. Let's begin. "Radiator's bleeding out," Ryan said, peering into the steaming engine. His breath fogged in the cold. "Name's Ryan. I've got a tow strap in a shop 3 miles that way." The woman hugged the coffee like a lifeline. "Hannah Reed." Her voice was gravel soft, the kind that comes after a night without sleep. I can't pay much." Ryan tugged his cap lower. "We'll sort it out, not leaving you here to freeze." He hooked the strap to her bumper, muscles moving from memory. Pull, click, test. "Climb in. Heater works if you kick the glove box." They rolled into town as the sunrise stained the sky peach and copper. Ryan's pickup rattled, country radio low, wipers squeaking. Hannah didn't speak for a minute, then, "Why give me your coffee?" "Because I've had colder mornings," he said. "And because my daughter thinks I'm a superhero when I act like one." A beat. "She's 8. Name's Lily." Hannah turned the cup in her hands. "Must be nice, being someone's hero." "Terrifying," he admitted, smiling. "But it keeps me honest." The garage, Matthew's auto, was small and stubborn-looking, a cinder-block box with 2 bays and a hand-painted sign. Inside, crayon drawings covered one wall. Purple pickup trucks, stick-figure mechanics, a lopsided heart that read, "Dad's Shop." Ryan slid under Hannah's car and got to work. Coolant hissed, fan belt frayed. He moved quickly and cleanly, all business until he wasn't. "You okay?" he asked from beneath the chassis. A long pause. "Bad night," she said. "Worse morning." "Fair," he said. "I've had a year of those." Boots scuffed, tools clicked, the radio hummed. Hannah drifted toward the drawings, studying a crayon sun with sunglasses. "She's good," she said softly. "Best artist I know." Ryan rolled out, streak of grease on his cheek. "Pressure tested it. You got lucky, hose and clamp. I'll swap the belt, top you off, and you're roadworthy." Her relief showed up in her shoulders before her face. "How much do I?" He shook his head. Coffee covered it. "Ryan, that's not—" "Kindness is a running tap," he said, half-grin. "Someone spotted me once." Hannah swallowed, eyes bright but steady. "Then let me pay it forward. Coffee, real coffee, not gas, station courage." She tried to smile. "Deal?" "Deal." He finished the job, checked the temperature, and wiped his hands on a rag that had seen better decades. Outside, the town woke. Delivery trucks, a distant whistle from the tracks, a bakery door thumping open to let out warm bread air. Hannah stood by the open bay, wind playing with her hair, the empty cup crushed in her palm like a promise she wanted to keep. "Thank you," she said, low but certain. Ryan nodded at the road. "Go make your morning better." She slid behind the wheel, engine purring now. Before pulling out, she looked back, really looked, at the tiny shop, the drawings, the man who'd given away his last heat of the day. Her lips shaped a silent, "I won't forget." Gravel popped under her tires. The taillights faded. Ryan exhaled, alone with the hum of fluorescent lights and the echo of her gratitude. He tossed the rag onto the workbench, glanced at Lily's drawings, and let the quiet settle. Then his phone buzzed. Unknown number, he ignored it. It buzzed again and again. He frowned, thumb hovering, a prickle along his spine he couldn't explain. He answered. "Mr. Matthews?" a bright voice said. "This is going to sound unusual, but are you at the garage right now?" Ryan looked at the open bay and the gray morning beyond. "Yeah, why?" "Good," the voice said, excitement crackling. "Stay right there." The line clicked dead. Outside, somewhere past the corner, an engine bigger than any pickup growled, closer, closer, until it stopped right out front. Then doors, several of them, opened at once. Tripods clinked. Someone called, "We're rolling in 60. Another voice, "Mic check." Ryan wiped his hands again, as if clean palms could make sense of this. He didn't move. Couldn't. The hairs on his arms lifted. A shadow crossed the threshold. And then a familiar figure stepped into the light. Ryan froze where he stood, rag still in his hand. The woman walking toward him didn't look like the one he'd rescued yesterday morning. Gone was the tired, trembling stranger in the thin coat. The woman now, Hannah Reed, moved with quiet power. Her blonde hair framed her face perfectly, her coat looked brand new, and the calm confidence in her stride told Ryan this wasn't just some random roadside traveler. He blinked as the crew behind her carried cameras, microphones, and lighting gear into the lot. His small-town garage, usually filled with nothing but the smell of grease and the buzz of old fluorescent lights, suddenly felt like a movie set. "What on earth is all this?" he said, voice low, half in disbelief. Hannah's lips lifted in a gentle smile. "Good morning, Ryan. I hope you don't mind a few visitors." "Visitors?" He let out a nervous laugh. "Lady, I'm lucky if my mailman says hi." She laughed lightly, and that same warmth from yesterday flickered in her eyes. "I owe you. More than a thank you. You didn't know me, and you still stopped. You gave up your coffee, your time, and refused a single dollar. Do you have any idea what that meant?" Ryan rubbed the back of his neck. "It's just coffee. People need help sometimes, that's all." Hannah's expression softened. "It wasn't just coffee, Ryan. You helped me when I'd hit my lowest point. And the thing is, you didn't even ask why." He frowned. "Because it didn't matter." "Exactly," she said, stepping closer. "And that's what matters most." Behind her, one of the crew members called out, "Miss Reed, we're ready for sound check." Ryan's head tilted. "Ms. Reed? You said that like you run this thing." She nodded, a hint of embarrassment flickering across her face. "I do. I'm the co-founder of Heartline Media. We produce a show that highlights real people who make the world a little better." Ryan blinked, processing. "You're telling me this is, what, a TV thing?" "A docu-series," she explained. "We were on the road filming a special about acts of kindness when my car broke down yesterday. I didn't tell you who I was because, honestly, I didn't want anyone treating me differently. But then you showed up, handed me your only coffee, and acted like helping me was the most normal thing in the world." Ryan felt a strange mix of pride and panic. "So you're saying you're here because of that?" Hannah smiled. "Because of you." The sound guy motioned for her to take a position near the garage entrance. Two camera operators adjusted focus, while another person straightened a light reflector against the wall where Lily's crayon drawings hung. "What's that for?" Ryan asked, noticing the lenses turned toward him. Hannah turned, her voice warm and sincere. "Your story. People deserve to know that there are still men like you out there. Decent, humble, and kind." Ryan's jaw tensed. "I'm just trying to make rent, Hannah. I ain't no story." But she shook her head. "Maybe not to you, but to someone watching, you might be the reason they decide to help a stranger tomorrow." Her words hung there, soft but heavy. The director signaled. Cameras rolled. A producer counted down from 3, and suddenly Hannah was standing in front of him. Mic clipped to her coat, introducing herself to the camera. "Yesterday morning, I was stranded on Highway 16, she began, her tone smooth yet emotional. It was freezing, and my car broke down. One man stopped. He didn't know who I was. He didn't ask for anything in return. He just helped." Ryan shifted, awkward under the lens. "This," she said, turning toward him, "is Ryan Matthews, a single father, mechanic, and the kind of man this world could use more of." He blinked hard, unsure what to do with his hands. "I just fixed a radiator." The crew chuckled softly behind the cameras. When they cut, Hannah turned back to him, lowering her voice. "Ryan, yesterday, your kindness reminded me what this show is supposed to stand for. Lately, I'd been so buried in deadlines, sponsors, and numbers that I forgot why we started it in the first place." Ryan folded his arms, confused but touched. "Seems like a long drive just to tell me that." She reached into her bag, pulled out a sleek white envelope, and held it toward him. He frowned. "What's this?" "Just open it." He tore it open and froze. Inside was a check, a big one, more than he made in an entire year. And attached to it was a printed letter, an official partnership offer from Heartline Media to sponsor his shop's renovation and feature his business in an upcoming episode. "Hannah, I can't take this," he stammered, backing a step. "You've already done too much." She smiled, eyes glistening. "You didn't do what you did for recognition or money. That's why you deserve it." He shook his head, overwhelmed. "I just wanted to help." "And now," she said softly, "it's our turn to help you." Ryan felt his chest tighten. Years of struggle, of bills stacking up, of saying no to his daughter's small dreams because he had to keep the lights on. All of it suddenly pressed at once. He looked away, blinking fast. This doesn't happen to people like me." Hannah took a step closer. "Maybe it should." The words cracked something inside him. He tried to smile, but his voice came out rough. "You're really something, you know that?" She grinned. "Just repaying the man who reminded me humanity's still alive." The director waved again. "Let's do one more shot, outside by the sign." Ryan followed, dazed, as the crew positioned them near his old weathered sign. The letters were chipped, barely legible. A production assistant hung a banner above it. "Matthews Auto Rebuilds, a story of second chances." He read the words twice, his throat tightening. As the cameras panned over the shop, Hannah turned to him and whispered, "This isn't a thank you. It's a beginning." He glanced down at her, eyes soft. "Guess that coffee went a long way, huh?" She smiled. "Further than you'll ever know." The camera light blinked red, recording their quiet laughter against the gray morning sky. Ryan didn't notice the town's first few cars slowing down outside the garage, nor the curious faces peering in through the open bay doors. All he knew, standing there beside the woman whose life he'd changed without meaning to, was that something inside him finally felt alive again, like warmth coming back to frozen hands. And for the first time in years, Ryan Matthews, single dad, small-town mechanic, felt seen. A week later, the sign above Matthews Auto Rebuilds gleamed beneath the afternoon sun. The banner Hannah's team had left behind wasn't just decoration anymore. It was a promise that had reshaped Ryan's quiet world. Word spread fast in the small town. The story of the mechanic who gave his last coffee to a stranger went viral after the episode aired on Heartline Media. The clip, Ryan's shy smile, Hannah's trembling gratitude, and Lily's colorful drawings in the background, hit millions of views in 3 days. Suddenly, the phone at the shop never stopped ringing. People drove from nearby cities, some needing repairs, others just wanting to meet him. One man shook Ryan's hand with tears in his eyes and said, "You reminded me how my dad used to be." A single mom left a note on the counter that read, "Thanks for proving good men still exist." Ryan didn't quite know what to do with all that attention. He still wore the same hoodie, still drank gas station coffee, still fixed cars with calloused hands. But something about the air in his garage felt lighter now. There was hope hanging in it. By late afternoon, the bell above the door jingled. He looked up and saw Hannah. This time, she wasn't surrounded by cameras, just holding 2 cups of coffee, one in each hand. "Careful," he teased with a grin, wiping his hands on a rag. "You know how dangerous giving strangers coffee can be." Hannah laughed, walking closer. "Guess I like living dangerously." She handed him a cup. Steam rose between them, carrying the same familiar warmth that had started it all. Ryan took a sip and sighed. "You didn't have to come all this way." "Didn't have to," she said. "Wanted to." He noticed something different in her now. The polished businesswoman from the camera shoot had softened. Her confidence remained, but her edges were gentler. "How's the show doing?" he asked. "Better than ever," she said. "Sponsors, views, interviews. But honestly, that's not what I'm most proud of." He raised an eyebrow. "Oh yeah? What beats all that?" She looked around. The repaired walls, the new sign, the laughter of his daughter drawing in the corner. "This," she said quietly. "Seeing you and Lily smile again." Ryan glanced over at his little girl, who was proudly showing Hannah her latest crayon creation. A tow truck pulling a broken car under a rainbow. "She's drawing you again," he said with a laugh. "I'll take that as a good sign," Hannah replied, kneeling beside the girl. "You're quite the artist, Lily." Lily beamed. "Daddy says good people fix things. You fixed us too." The room fell still for a heartbeat. Ryan swallowed hard, staring at his daughter, the edges of his vision blurring. "Hey now," he said softly. "We were never broken." Hannah stood, her eyes glimmering. "No, Ryan, you weren't. You just needed the world to see who you really are." He took another slow sip of coffee. "Funny thing about kindness, it's never really about who gives it. It's about who it reaches. And who it changes," she added. The garage door rattled open as the sunset poured golden light across the floor, catching the glossy paint of a newly fixed car. Outside, customers waved and smiled at the single dad whose story had reminded them that small kindness still mattered. Ryan watched them drive away, then turned back to Hannah. "You ever think how weird life is?" he asked. "One cup of coffee and somehow everything changes?" Hannah smiled softly. "It's never the coffee, Ryan. It's the heart that offers it." He looked at her for a long moment, then nodded slowly, the faintest hint of a smile touching his lips. "Then I guess I'm glad I was thirsty." She laughed, light and genuine. "You and me both." Outside, the last rays of sunlight hit the words on the sign, "A story of second chances." Ryan didn't need a headline or camera to tell him what had happened. He'd learned something far more valuable than fame or money. That sometimes, one simple act of kindness doesn't just save someone else. It saves you too. He turned to his daughter, ruffled her hair, and said, "Come on, kiddo. Let's close up shop." And as Hannah stood beside them, sipping her coffee, the small garage buzzed with life, laughter, and the quiet power of one truth Ryan would never forget. Kindness always finds its way back.